Alright, so today we're going to be covering Stage 22 vocabulary and derivatives. So let's begin. So we have adeptus, adepta, adeptum, which is a perfect active participle. We're going to be talking about perfect active participles in this chapter, and there's a YouTube video up already on my channel that you can watch about it if you want to get ahead and find out about them. For right now, you just have to know that you have to memorize these forms. Because they look very similar to perfect passive participles, and the only way to tell them apart is memorization. Adeptus a means haven't received or haven't obtained, and so we obviously get adept from it. Amor, amoris should be a pretty easy word to recognize. We've seen the verb form of it. It's a third declension masculine noun, meaning love. And so it's related to, obviously, amo, amare, amavi, amatus, to be in love, or to love something. And we get amorous from this. Arius, aria, arium is a 2-1-2 adjective. It means golden or made of gold. And it's related to the Latin noun aurum ari, which is au on the periodic table of elements. So you can kind of see the connections there. A nota bene, a good note down here. This can be used also as a noun, meaning a golden coin. So be careful. The book will put both forms in and kind of expect you to figure out the connection there. So just know that an arius not only means golden, like describing the sunrise, but also it can mean a golden coin. And we get aureole from this. And if you say this, arius, aureole, you can hear that oo sound. And so you see how this o and au kind of are related to each other. And this just means a golden bird. Avide is an adverb meaning eagerly, so we get avid from it. Is our derivative. Caelum, caeli is a second declension neuter noun meaning sky or heaven, and celestial comes from this. Decipio, decipere, decapi, deceptus is a third conjugation io verb. Remember, io verbs have the io form in the first form, making them look like they should be fourth conjugation, but then their second principal part is an ere. That's why they have this subcategory of third conjugation. And it's fitting that decepio is a third IO because it means to deceive or trick, which is what third IOs tend to do to students. So we get deceptive from this. Dirus, dira, dirum is a 2-1-2 adjective meaning dreadful or awful. We get dire from this, and you can kind of maybe remember a dire wolf as a dreadful wolf. Dissentio, dissentere, dissensi is a fourth conjugation verb meaning to disagree. A derivative that I just thought of is dissent, when people are dissenting from their government or their person in charge is a derivative from this. Eligo, eligere, elegi, electus. In this fourth principal part, you can already see what the meaning is going to come up to be. It's a third conjugation verb, means to choose, and obviously we get the word election from it. So elective, electoral, any of those words. And also we get eligible, someone who is able to be chosen. Exitium, exitii is a second declension neuter noun, meaning ruin or destruction. This is going to be an important one to remember. Romans are always fighting wars. They're always therefore having, they leave ruin and destruction a lot of places. Fundo, fundere, fundi, fusus is a third conjugation verb meaning to pour. You'll see this oftentimes with words like vinum, wine, or aqua, water. It has some derivatives in English. It has the verb to found, and we're referring to the metal kind, where you're pouring metal into a mold, not to found as in to begin something. Although you could see a connection, like a foundation is something that's poured, but it's not exactly what it's connected for. We also have foundry, the place where metal is worked, and then fusion. Hostis, hostis is another one of those Latin nouns that, like exitium, that you just kind of have to know because the Romans do it a lot, or deal with it a lot. It's the third declension masculine noun meaning enemy, and we get hostile from it. Iacto, iactare, iactavi, iactatus is a first conjugation verb meaning to throw. It's synonymous with a bunch of Latin words. Here are some: iaccio, mitto, inicio. Incipio, incipere, incapi, inceptus is another third conjugation io verb. It means to begin. So incipient or inception are two derivatives from that. Ingressus a is another one of these perfect active participles. It means having entered. And we get the English derivative ingress. And a good thing to remember about a word, the stem gress, is that it most often will be a perfect active participle. So if you see gress plus an adjective ending with some sort of different prefix, you're probably looking at a perfect active participle. There's a lot like egressus, ingressus, digressus. There's a bunch out there. Inicio, inicere, inyeki, inyectus is a third conjugation iode verb, meaning literally to throw in. So you get inject from that. It means something that's thrown into you. And again, we have yakio, mito, yakto as synonyms of it. Lacrima, lacrimae is a first declension feminine noun, meaning tear. And it's related to the verb lacrimo, to cry. Minimus is a 2-1-2 adjective. Note, this is an irregular superlative, all right? It means very little or the least. So if I ask you on a test what degree of adjective this is, you need to say superlative. We get the English word minimal from it. Molestus is a 2-1-2 adjective meaning troublesome. You probably see this in a lot of sentences with vexo, to annoy. The molestus puer vexat the magistrum, the troublesome boy annoyed the teacher. All right, moneo, monere, monui, monitus is a second conjugation verb. It means to warn or advise. So we have admonish and monitor. This is a one that trips up students a lot. So learning this one really well is good now because it'll help you out later on. Parco, pacere, peperci is a third conjugation verb. It's a plus dative, so that means instead of a regular accusative direct object, it has a dative for its direct object. And it means to spare. Precatus, precata, precatum is a perfect active participle. It means having prayed to. All right, so it's another one of those special participles you have to memorize. Prudentia, prudentiae is a first declension feminine noun. It means prudence or good sense. Quantus is a 2-1-2 adjective meaning how big. And so quantity comes from this. You can see this often asking questions. How big is that elephant or temple? Quantum templum. Quomodo. When you see them together next to each other like this, it's a question word meaning how. Tardus is not related to Doctor Who, but good guess. It's a 2-1-2 adjective meaning late or slow. So when you're tardy to school, you are late to school, hence the connection there. Tutus is another 2-1-2 adjective meaning safe. A tutelage is someone who you are charged with to keep safe. Verbum verbi is a second declension neuter noun. Its original meaning is word. And through the evolution of language, we get our English word verb comes from it. It actually has a very interesting etymology. If you look up the English word verb, it's very interesting. Virtus, virtutus is the third declension feminine noun. Notice it doesn't follow our regular pattern of third declensions ending in US being neuter. It's third declension feminine. It means courage. Obviously, it's related to the Latin noun vir. The Romans very much thought were capable of virtus. Vito, vitare, vitavi, vitatus is a first conjugation verb, and it means to avoid. All right. Be careful with this one because it looks very similar to vivo, to live. It's just one letter off, so you got to watch out for those letters when you're translating. All right, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.